Salut, bonjour, hello and welcome to the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. We are here at Le Mans, as you can see by this legendary sign of 24 hours, of course. But today we're here for the Truck Racing Championship. Yes, they are going to compete here in this prestigious track with 100 miles per hour or 160 kilometers per hour. We are here at Le Mans. We are so excited ahead of race one. But we are not only just broadcasting on our YouTube live stream and on our ETRC channels, but also, let's say in German, Hallo nach Hannover zu IAA Transportation. Schön, dass Sie dabei sind und hier gleich mit dabei sind bei der Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. Ich freue mich sehr, dass wir heute auch nach Hannover senden. Wo sind wir gerade? Let's going to show you where we are. We are here in front of the Innovation Camp. Is part of the roadmap towards sustainable racing, or in German, Nachhaltigkeit. Hier werden nachhaltige und grüne Technologien konkret im Truck Racing Sport umgesetzt. It is organized in collaboration with the local event organizers and the International Truck of the Year eToy to present latest green technologies. And later in this program, we show you how the HVO biofuel is included and well accepted in this championship. But first, let's say hello to our commentators. We do got two live streams. In German, it's Joachim Eberts and Chaz Reichert in English. So our commentators, hello and very warm welcome from us. And yes, we're going to see Norbert Kirsch. He's in the lead. He won Super Pole. Of course, he's competing from P number 168 points ahead of Jochen Hahn and Sascha Lenz. But do not underestimate truck drivers.
Do not indeed. Hello everybody, Chaz Draycott here in the commentary box at Le Mans, on site as well at this incredibly important circuit in motorsport history. I'm delighted to be out here and delighted to be sat up in the commentary box with a wonderful view over the grid, which you can see just there on your screens. Hope you're all having a wonderful day so far. We had our very exciting qualifying session earlier on, which saw a lot of jumping around of the order and a number of drivers that actually got times deleted during their actual session. We had an also very exciting break in between the two sessions, where we had all of the trucks, their drivers, their teams, and everybody all up together. We had the national anthem sung for us as well, the French national anthem, and a fantastic presentation of not just the race trucks, but of course our official trucks and pace trucks as well, showing a fantastic moment of solidarity between everybody here in the paddock and even in the French truck racing paddock as well. There you see a lovely shot of our Iveco S-Way, the official truck, and the FFSA French Truck Racing Championship pace truck as well. They also use a Ford F-Max for their duties, as we do as our official truck. And it was a very touching moment, of course, as well for Anthony Janiak's team, Lion Truck Racing. We tragically lost Anthony earlier in the year, very suddenly as well, at just the age of 37 years old. Here's a look at the circuit, though. You may all know of Circuit de la Sarthe, the 24-hour layout of Le Mans, but not many people know about this absolute gem that is the Le Mans Bugatti circuit. 14 corners here that are all very difficult, Dunlop curve and Dunlop chicane. Of course, the usual part of the track you would recognise with the 24-hour race, but then going down into Virage de la Chapelle and Virage Le Musée. It's certainly a big challenge as the drivers and teams have to go over the crest and then back over another crest as they go down towards Le Musée. Garage Vert is a double apex right-hander, and then the final section of the circuit is very start-stop with a bunch of chicanes and basically a double apex hairpin at the end as well. It's a big challenge for our trucks, but always very exciting to watch, and we look forward to seeing how the first race of the day is going to go. We all know that it's going to be exciting and very close, but the drivers have to get the job done and keep it nice and tidy. The trucks are now towards the end of the pit lane, and we'll have a quick look at the grid. We've got Norbert Kirsch and Sascha Lenz on the front row of the grid. Two drivers that we usually get on the front row of the grid, battling once again. Antonio Albertetti is going to line up in third position. He's alongside Adam Lachko on row 2. It's Adam's birthday today as well, 38 years of age, so happy birthday, Adam. We hope that his day is made even better by some strong results. Jochen Hahn and Theo Calve next up on the grid. Theo, the highest placed of the Promoters Cup drivers on our grid. Then we have Andre Kurzim alongside Steffi Halm, two of the Ivecos side by side on the 4th row of the grid. Next up, Stefan Faas will start 9th inside Superpole. He had a very good session, while Jamie Anderson actually lost a number of his lap times because of hitting the track markers, or the penalty markers, which denote the track limits. Shane Brereton is next up alongside Jose Rodriguez, who joins him on the 6th row of the grid. And then we complete our 14 truck field with Heinrich Clemens Hecker, who will start 13th, ahead of newcomer to the championship, John Newell. We'll go down though to Christina, who has some more words for us. Christina.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Chaz. And I'm always thrilled to be standing on the grid, especially right now here in France at Le Mans. As I told you, I want to talk about the HVO biofuel. You know, new and more advanced HVO is increasing the sustainability of fuel further, but currently also the cost required to produce it. But the question for race drivers is always, is it fast enough for me? And who could we ask? Of course, 6-time champion Jochen Hahn, who knows best.
Hallo, mein Name ist Jochen Hahn, 6-facher Europameister, und ich zeige euch jetzt mal, wie nachhaltiger Motorsport funktioniert. Kommt einfach mit, ich zeige es euch mal. Ja, es gibt ja verschiedene Möglichkeiten, nachhaltigen Motorsport zu machen. Zum einen Gasantrieb, Elektroantrieb, Wasserstoffantrieb, ja, oder Verbindung Wasserstoff-Elektroantrieb. Oder wie in unserem Fall mit HVO, den wir hier bei unserem Renntrag nutzen. So, was ist HVO? HVO, Hydrogen Vegetable Oil, wirklich basierend auf Altfetten, auf Tierabfälle, wird dann mit Wasserstoff und Strom quasi in den Kraftstoff umgewandelt. Das Schöne dabei ist, wir sind wirklich 92% CO2-neutral. Somit machen wir eigentlich, oder was bedeutet eigentlich, einen sehr nachhaltigen Motorsport. Alle zusammen, und da sind wir sehr stolz, dass wir da ein Teil davon sind. Ja, wichtig dabei ist, dass wir HVO ohne jegliche Veränderung beim Dieselmotor, beim Rennmotor verwenden können. Ich hoffe, ich konnte ein bisschen rüberbringen und erklären, was HVO ist. Drückt mir die Daumen auf ein gutes Rennen, euer Jochen.
And there we go. Wonderful words from Jochen Hahn, basically explaining the use of HVO diesel within the championship and how amazing it can be for it to bring down all the emissions that can come from motorsport, not just in truck racing, but any motorsport as well. And biofuels have definitely become the way forward for championships and different categories to operate on. And basically he was explaining just the ways in which it works, and of course there are many different types of sustainable drivetrains that you can have within motorsport like this. Just earlier in the season the FIA announced that from 2023 we will be allowing hybrid and electric powertrains to be a part of this wonderful series, and it's exciting to see which teams can get to that first and see how they can develop it for future use. We look here at our gorgeous International Truck of the Year from 2019, the Ford F-Max. This phenomenal blue towering machine looks absolutely wonderful. And also, I'm sure looking wonderful down there on the grid is Christina, who has more words for us.
Thank you very much. And I can see Louis taking picture of the Ford F-Max, and we are ahead of the Pace truck from Iveco, also really a beauty and also powered by bio-LNG. So we are heading towards sustainability. This word in English is sometimes very difficult. So I'm here with George Fuchs, Managing Director from the ETRA. And how open is this championship for further technologies?
We're absolutely open for any kind of sustainable technologies. I mean, we're not talking about concepts or visions. Here you can feel and touch it. We have the HVO on the grid. All our race trucks powered for 2 years already with HVO, having great effects. We have the bio-LNG powered Iveco S-Way pace truck with us. And next year, basically, we are open for the regulation for electric and hybrid race trucks. And I think it won't take that much time until we see the first electric race truck prototype.
Oh, we are so excited to see that. And of course, what works with 100 miles an hour on the racetrack does also work on the track. It's Grégory Bouchalin, he's Vice President, Goodyear Commercials. Hello, bienvenue. So you've been into this pace truck. How was it riding it?
It's just amazing. I love it. I'm like a kid, so it was really exciting, very exciting. And I would like to thank all the visitors. So amazing day today. The weather is with us. So many people. So it's exciting, very exciting.
Thank you very much. The level of this championship, Georg, is so high. What is so special about truck racing in general?
Truck racing, it's for drivers, with the drivers. So actually it's a festival. It's not only racing, it's a whole festival. We have the industry with us. We have the truck drivers with us. We have music, entertainment. And I think it's just a big show. And especially after 2 years of COVID, this is really, really great to celebrate together. And it's just fantastic.
2020, we couldn't be here 2021, and right now back to normal. How is it to see the fans back here?
Yeah, it's very good. I'm coming here since years and years. I cannot remember, but I can tell you I've never seen so many people, so it's very exciting.
And now we're ahead of race number 1, ladies and gentlemen. Let's keep on rocking. So test record Joachim Eberts, it's your turn right now.
Thank you very much, Christina. Yes, it's a very exciting time, and that's fantastic enthusiasm, isn't it? Absolutely love to see that. And this is the thing, truck racing is such a niche, but at the end of the day, it's so exciting in its own way because everybody sees trucks on the road. Everybody knows how much of a massive industry logistics can be. It's just crazy to think that when you do see Scanias, Ivecos, MANs, when you see them driving down the road, you just think, there's no way anybody could race a machine like this. But then the amount of people that I've seen suddenly become exposed to truck racing and learn about how it all works has been absolutely incredible. You know, the reaction is just phenomenal from it. And the teams and the drivers and everybody around, they all know it as well. You know, they know exactly how they want to go racing over the course of a weekend, and they know just how cool it is. You know, it's just such a niche. It's fantastic to see other people becoming a part of that as well. So we now wait for the start of the race, and starting at the very front of it will be Norbert Kirsch, who is there with Christina.
And he won 12 times this season, 10 times reaching 20 points. Norbert Kirsch, Le Mans, the legendary racetrack. Who do you talk last before racing?
I don't know. Usually it's you, I guess. No. I mean, you know, we are cool. We don't have, like, you know, these things, rituals before the race. You know, it's fine. All the team is here, you know, next to me until they can in the countdown. So we speak a little bit, you know, make a little bit of fun of each other, you know, and then we give the fist bump and then we go. You know, it's all cool.
Yeah, absolutely great atmosphere. You're competing for the title. Of course, you need a high concentration level until the end. How are you keeping up the focus to getting below your truck in one piece over the checkered flag and over start-finish line?
Yeah, I guess it's always difficult, and you know, I try to pull myself together during the formation lap, and you know, concentrate on all the things I have to do in here, you know, to prepare for the start. And you know, I just try to do the best I can.
Thank you very much. So last words from me right now to Norbert Kirsch, really truly high performer in this championship.
He really is. He's an absolute star, is Norbert Kirsch, and thanks to him I actually had a wonderful meeting, or I say a meeting, I met a wonderful man called Michael Boris earlier on, who's actually the head coach of a Hungarian first division football club called Mol Fehérvár. I've probably absolutely butchered the name, but thank you to Michael and his lovely partner who were in Norby's awning and there to have a chat. We just had a really good laugh. He says he's quite the fan of my work as well, so I hope they both enjoy their day here. They're enjoying the racing, and they're good friends of Norby and his wonderful team, and they are all very very hospitable as well. They certainly look after me. I'm very spoiled in amongst this paddock by everybody, and it's just a joy to be a part of it. But It's great to meet fantastic characters like Michael and everyone that just comes to enjoy the truck racing. You know, as I mentioned before, it is such a niche and it's such an exciting thing to watch. Michael shared the exact same image of it. You know, it's just so entertaining, and it's something that when you first hear truck racing, you think, no way. But like I said, it's something that is very easy to catch on to and enjoy. So out of my window right now, I can see at least the last 6 trucks on the grid without even having to turn my neck. I've got Jamie Anderson and Stefan Faas together on the 5th row of the grid, with a couple of others just behind. A few rows forward, though, we have Jochen Hahn, 6-time champion, who we saw before, and he's with Christina.
Yes, competing in his Iveco. Jochen Hahn, Le Mans, what a prestigious racetrack. You explained us how fast HVO is, but now how fast are you?
Yeah, this is a good question. In the time practice, we have really some small mistakes. But in the end, the race finish when the checkered flag is done and the points it's coming into race. So I think we are ready and maximum attack.
Absolutely. Which part of the racetrack is really interesting? Is it the chicane, or which part is more interesting for competing?
Yeah, but you know, everybody means in the first chicane you can win the race, you can only lose. So I must wait and we must look where we can overtake. So I cannot really say it's the first chicane or the last chicane. So maybe it's everywhere possible.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Jochen Hahn. We're going up to TOKV then.
Yeah, Jochen Hahn, as ever, always a neutral perspective on things, like he says. Everyone thinks they can win the race in the first chicane, but you can only lose it there, really. It's all racing until the checkered flag flies. And that's one thing I love about Jochen Hahn, is you always speak to him and he knows exactly, he's been around the block, he knows exactly how it needs to be. You know, he doesn't want to get overconfident, he doesn't want to beat himself up, though, and sort of talk himself out of the race. And as mentioned, Christina has very quickly gone over to Teo Calvé. I forgot they were on the same row of the grid.
Yeah, they're on the same road of the grid. Teo Calvé, a local hero, competing on homestyle is so special for you. How many tickets did you have to organize for fans and family?
It's Le Mans. It's always difficult for us because we have all the sponsors, all the partners here, and the family, everybody. But yeah, it's a little pressure for me because it's my home race, like you said. But yeah, I feel really good for now. I did a good quali, so now let's enjoy the race.
You, of course, competed in the French Championship, very successful right now in the Promoters Cup. The 3 of you on the top competing for the title. How excited are you for this penultimate race weekend?
Yeah, of course, I want to win all race I can in the Promoters Cup. The battle is really tight, and yeah, you know, on the grid I'm the first of the class, so I hope it will stay like this. I really want to win this one, the first race, because it's big points, and yeah, let's see how it will be.
Thank you very much, Teo Calvé. And yes, you can see as close we can get to this giants on the road. It's every time very spectacular being here at the grid.
Yeah, it really is. And I mean, even just from Christina's interviews, you can see just how big the trucks are. She has to reach quite high up with that microphone, but does a wonderful job as ever. Doing a wonderful job at the top of the standings is Norbert Kish, 303 points, with Jochen Hahn in second place. As long as Jochen scores 8 points today, regardless of what Norby does, the championship will still continue on to tomorrow. But it's very likely that tomorrow Norbert Kish could be crowned champion. We just have to wait and see. Sasha Lenz in third isn't too far behind, though. He could still mount a challenge from this point, with Adam Lachko and Antonio Albertetti rounding out your top 5. We then have Steffi Helm and Jamie Anderson, both over 100 points so far. Andre Kizim is 8th ahead of Teo Calvé in 9th. Lucas Hahn, despite only doing 2 race meetings, is still top 10 in the championship. Shane Brereton is tied with him on 38 points, so that'll change this weekend surely. Stefan Faas is 12th, Jose Rodriguez 13th, and then Anthony Janiak is still on the board as a mark of respect. René Reiner is 15th, with Heinrich Clemens Hecker in 16th. Then it's Martin Gibson and Thomas Robineau, who we unfortunately haven't seen for a number of race meetings, but we do hope to have back on our grids again in the near future. Now, just one thing I have to notice is just how many fans we have here at Le Mans this weekend. You can see in the grandstands to the right, you can see them to the left, even in the background of the shot under the Motul branding there is a massive amount of people, even just from what I can see on the start finish straight here at Le Mans. It is a fantastic turnout for the championship. It's lovely to see it, and the grandstands all seem to be packed, to be honest with you. There's not really any seats that I can see in the grandstand opposite me. It's wonderful, really wonderful to see the championship getting the recognition it deserves, and a full grid of 14 trucks will all entertain them very shortly, I'm sure. You can see the weather is drastically improved from how it was this morning, and hopefully that continues to be the case. And now, making its way around the circuit is our wonderful Ford F-Max on its inspection lap. The Ford is being driven by Ralph Greger this weekend. He's putting it through its paces and making sure that everything on the circuit is up to standard, and there is nothing out there that could be considered harmful for the racing or for the trucks either. It's a very important part of the process to make sure that we have a very clean and tidy circuit. And the Ford F-Max was designed and tested by 500 Ford engineers over a 5-year period. So if you like the number 5, you're going to continue to enjoy this, because there was 15,500 hours of lab testing and 5 million kilometres of road testing put into this wonderful machine, the 2019 F-Max International Truck of the Year. 2019 smoking the front tyres as well. It's Ralph really throwing it about and making the most of it. And we have Steffi Halm on the grid, I'm told, with Christina for an interview.
Yes, absolutely. You should know her name. She's a spectacular Iveco driver. Steffi Halm, 4 minutes ahead of the race. Which thoughts do you have? What are you thinking the first?
Ja, das Hauptziel ist natürlich, einen guten Start zu haben. Wir sind auf dem 8. Platz. Das Qualifying lief nicht ganz optimal. Wobei ich insgesamt trotzdem zufrieden bin, weil der Abstand eben bis auf 2 nicht ganz so groß ist wie in den letzten Rennen. Jetzt werden wir einfach schauen, dass wir am Start gut wegkommen, durch die erste Schikane ohne irgendwelche Blessuren kommen. Und dann schauen wir mal, ob wir uns im Rennen vielleicht noch einen Ticken verbessern können. Ich bin auf jeden Fall voll motiviert und freue mich aufs Rennen.
Wir freuen uns auch. Vielen lieben Dank, Steffi. So I'm going to translate that quickly. So what are her thoughts? She's focusing on the start, of course, getting into the race and getting clean race done. Then the chicane is always so interesting how they can compete there. She's on P8 right now. She said she's not too happy with the time of the qualifying, but also she says we're very close to the other contestants. So let's say maybe 2 seconds, 3 seconds far behind. As you can see, so close, so narrow the trucks here. After the formation lap, there's going to be the rolling start with the trucks, and we need to get off that track here. This is it, Chaz. It's so good to be back here at Le Mans, and now it's your turn. And of course, it's the turn of Joachim Eberts zu. Grüße nach Hannover zu der IAA Transportation. Ich hoffe, ihr habt Spaß. Jetzt geht's los hier mit dem Rennen. Now it's time to race.
It is indeed. The official truck completes its inspection lap now, and look at that, really being thrown around the circuit. It's so much fun to ride on board with the F-Max. I've had the very lucky opportunity to be on board for a few sighting laps myself, and that's been on maybe the Friday or the Saturday in the morning. First thing, there is the championship trophy being shot from the podium at the very front, and Norbert Kisch, well, he basically has one hand on it already, and now he's got it directly in front of him, and he needs to take the fact he can see it like that as a bit of inspiration to get it done. Lovely carbon fibre stand on the bottom of that as well. It's interesting, actually. I've not seen that many trophies that have carbon fibre incorporated into their design, so that's it's new on me, and I think that looks very good. So hopefully we see more of that from other championships in the future. Now, there were 3 red lights on the gantry in front of all of our trucks, very importantly signifying that there are 3 minutes until they get going. I can actually see them from out of my window, which is pretty good. It's not normally something I can do at the circuits. We've got a 1-minute board up now very quickly. That's just gone up at the front of the grid. You're not missing that, are you? You're definitely not missing that. The marshal moves all of the personnel off the grid. And now into the pit lane has come the Ford F-Max. And the trophy will be very quickly moved away, I believe, unless they're going to drive either side of it, which will be quite nice. I think they will, actually, with the way that they're keeping the marshals there like that with the yellow flags. This is going to be a good shot, to be honest with you, and it's nice that it blocks the way for our cameraman as well. I can't quite see. I think it is Lewis that's down there with the camera. I can't actually see him because of Sasha Lenz's truck, but I will have a glimpse now as they get going. The Iveco S-Way has moved away from the grid. Norbert Kish begins to do so. So too does Sasha Lenz. And it is Lewis that is down there, and he's got a number of the guys with them as well. I believe Martin Zorn is there with him too, with his camera, and I think Mike Fow also, and they're giving the drivers a wave as well as we get this lovely shot of them all driving past the trophy for the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. Solid work by all involved. And now the warm-up lap begins. So a quick recap of the grid then. Front row, Norbert Kish is Sasha Lenz's main target. Sasha very good off the start of these races, so he's going to be hoping for a good getaway, and he's going to be on the inside for the Dunlop curve, but not for the chicane where Norbert Kish could try to defend the inside line. Antonio Alberthetti will start third with his sparring partner Adam Lachko joining him on row 2. Those guys are sure to put up a great fight and provide a lot of entertainment. Fifth place will not be what Jochen Hahn wanted from qualifying, but it's exciting to see the prospect of him being able to come forward. He's got Teo Calve alongside him. Andre Kurzim and Steffi Halm are starting on row 4. We see the two of them there in their beautiful Iveco S-Ways. We've got all the Ivecos near the middle of the grid actually. And then we've got Stefan Faas and Jamie Anderson rounding out your top 10. Jamie will certainly be looking to move forward after being the fastest Promoters Cup driver during the session, but having his times deleted for track limits. Shane Brayton in 11th will hopefully be able to get over the recurring engine issue that he's still got. He's still having troubles with it in his MAN. And then we have Jose Rodriguez alongside him, hoping to take advantage of Shane's issue and move forward from there. Heinrich Clement-Hecker and John Newell will be trying to pick up the pieces from the back row of the grid, but you can be sure that John is keen to impress in his first meeting in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. John, normally a driver that competes in the British Truck Racing Championship. I've not actually had a chance to catch up with him yet over the course of the weekend, but hope to do so either after this race or after the second one. I look at Sasha Lenz throwing the back end of his truck around on the exit of Garage Vert, really throwing it around to make sure he gets lots of heat in those rear tyres. He wants to make sure that he's got all the traction that he can get when the lights come on and when he gets going. It's a rolling start in this championship, so you've got to be absolutely on it at the right point. Norbert Kish gave us a fantastic insight earlier in the season, up the boost and make it, you have your feet on the brakes ready to then come off and absolutely floor it once you've built the boost up and got the revs just where you need them to be. Also saw fantastic pictures earlier in the season at Most of all of the race engineers that stand in the pit lane staring at lights red, them to either come on or for the red lights to go out, so they can shout go to their respective drivers and get them to launch away from the line very quickly. So the commentator here at the circuit is getting everybody all riled up, getting everyone excited and ready to go. And they're into the final couple of corners now. And it is Norbert Kish on the outside, Sasha Lenz on the inside, then it's Adam Lachko and Antonio Alberthetti. They've come into sight now. And the first race of the weekend in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Championship is underway. The lights go out and everybody floors it. Antonio Alberthetti's got a fantastic start from the second row. The grid moves over to the right hand side in front of Adam Lachko. Jamie Anderson gets a good launch from further down the grid as well. He tries to look to the inside of Steffi Halm, but Sasha Lenz is alongside Norbert Kish as they go around turn 1. Norby's going to have the inside line for the Dunlop chicane. Has everybody got it right? Any lockups from inside the middle of the field? No, it looks okay. Sasha just gets his nose chopped off by Norby a little bit there, but Norbert Kish is in the front and in the lead. John Newell cuts across the chicane a little bit, just trying to avoid contact with Heinrich Clement-Hecker. But it's Kish from Lenz, then Alberthetti, and Andre Kurzim's locked up and he's gone on. He's going to clip the gravel and he's going to drop a lot of positions there. Andre Kurzim has an absolute nightmare. He's still not fully got back on the circuit. Stefan Faas kicks the back end out as well around there. But Norbert Kish leads from Sasha Lenz. Everybody in the middle of the field getting a little bit argy-bargy, it seems. Shane Brayton hung around the outside there with Stefan Faas on his inside line. And here's a quick look back at what happened to Andrei Kurzim going down the hill into the right-hander, just locks it up completely. Steffi Halm actually dropped a few places there. Jamie Anderson already is right up behind Theo Calve in this race. It's pretty remarkable, and you can see there Stefan Fast got hung out to dry quite a lot by Jose Rodriguez as they went round the right-hander into the chicane for the first time, known as Chemin au Boeuf, or Chemin au Boeufs. The left and then right chicane into the final section of the circuit. This is the Est du Garage Bleu, and then it's Virage du Raccordement, the final corners of the circuit. Not the easiest for me to say, trying to put on a French accent and doing it badly. Norbert Kish doesn't need to worry about me or my terrible accents though. He just needs to focus on driving forward as best he can. And Jochen Hahn needs to try and gain places to at least take the championship to tomorrow. He needs to score just 8 points today, which he can do quite easily as Stefan Fast has gone straight on. There's contact. And he's off into the gravel. Waiting for him to come back through. He did recover. He has just gone past the commentary box here, but that contact certainly throwing him down to the bottom end of the order. So it's Norbert Kish leading the way. Second place, Sasha Lenz. Then it's Antonio Alberthetti. Jochen Hahn up to fourth place ahead of Adam Lachko. Lachko only losing one position off the start, but at the end of the day, I'm sure he'd want to have gained one rather than lost one. Jamie Anderson behind Theo Calve after some of their epic scraps this season. That certainly could get interesting. There they are, the two of them glued together to go around the long right-hander. Jamie's been very, very quick, and I must admit, top effort to his team to fix all of the damage from Zolder, and even Theo Calve's team as well. They had a lot of damage to fix after the final race at Zolder, in which Theo had a humongous tyre failure. Contact early on in the race damaged the tyre, and then it fell off the entire rim by the end, and he was just throwing pieces of rubber all over the circuit. But he managed to use all of his skill and all of his determination to drag the truck back into the pit lane, and he did a fantastic job of it as well. Steffi Halm has dropped down to 8th position, and she's in a bit of a scrap there with Jose Rodriguez. Actually, I say she's dropped down to 8th. She was 8th when the race started, so just seems like she's fallen down a bit, but unfortunately she's actually still in the same place and having to work hard to defend it, because Jamie Anderson went past her, but then she got a place off Andrei Kurzim, who dropped down to 12th position. Now don't forget, 8th is an important spot to finish in this first race, because it means that you will be in pole position for the second race of the day. The top 8 get reversed as Jose Rodriguez down the inside of Steffi Halm, so too is Shane Brereton. It looks like Steffi went straight on there. I think she had some sort of a problem, either that or just missed her braking point, and yes, she's dropped behind Andrei Kurzim now as well. So the two Ivecos there not having the best of their opening laps, unfortunately, but they will be very determined to move back forward once again in the pack. Steffi is one of two Ivecos, part of the team Die Bullen von Iveco, which she is teamed up with Jochen Hahn for. Andrei Kurzim isn't in a team this season as such. The team's championship is basically two drivers and their respective squads coming together to form a two-truck team for a team's championship. We have Norbert Kish and Antonio Alberthetti leading the way as Revesh and T-Sport. They're nearly 90 points clear in the standings. Actually more than that, to be honest with you. They are 94 points clear. Then we have Jochen Hahn and Steffi Halm as Die Bullen von Iveco on 382 points. And Sasha Lenz and Shane Brereton as Team Lowenpower. They are on 343 points, only 23 ahead of Theo Calve and Adam Lachko in the Bugera ZM Racing Freightliners. So it's all to play for in the team's championship at least. But in the drivers' championship, it's looking very likely that Norbert Kish will be the one to take it. Whoa, especially if that happens for Jochen Hahn. Dips a wheel onto the gravel on the exit of Virage du Musée. That's a big old moment, manages to save it. You can tell he's been pushing hard in the opening laps because there's bits of bodywork flapping around on each corner. He's been trying to make progress as quickly as possible to go chasing after Norbert Kish and Sasha Lenz. There they are. There's Norby into the chicane. Sasha going after him, using as much of the curb as possible without hitting the grass. There's Antonio Alberthetti. Antonio hasn't had many podiums this season, actually. He's had 5 podiums, but bear in mind that Norbert Kish has had 16, Jochen Hahn and Sasha Lenz have had 15 each. It's not quite been the season for Antonio to remember. He had a much deserved win at Misano earlier in the year, in one of the first races of the season, and it was a couple of years since he'd won a race outright actually as well. The T-Sport Banau squad certainly loving that. There's one of the penalty markers being put back into place by one of our marshals, and another one as well. You'll see they get put into these slots in the ground, and at certain circuits we have them inflated, so we have a lot of air blown up through the middle. And the Stefan Faas and Heinrich Clemens Hecker incident is being looked at, I'm told. It's between trucks 24 and 25. I believe the graphic for that has already come up actually. It was reported to the stewards, and it will be looked at now. I've been told by race control that Teo Calve has had a black and white flag, which is for hitting the penalty marker in turn 9 on the circuit, so he's just overdone it slightly on the track limits round there. And we've had a few other drivers as well actually. Shane Brereton getting a black and white flag for a penalty marker in the same place at turn 9. Heinrich Clemens Hecker getting a warning for it in turn 3. So there's a bunch of them just overdoing it slightly, but again, it's easy to do it around here. There's a lot of runoff area, and it is such a tough circuit to get the power down on. A lot of these drivers try and carry the momentum through every corner as best they can, and sometimes it's really easy to just get on the throttle a bit early or get on the brakes a little bit too late. But they need to give themselves a good clean run out of each corner, and it's always a clean run considering the fact that our trucks are powered by 100% renewable HVO diesel. And as I admitted earlier, I only just this weekend found out what HVO stood for. You'd expect that I'd probably know a little bit more about it, but to be honest with you, I didn't. Just going to say that as it is. It actually means hydro-treated vegetable oil. So the field continues, and Jamie Anderson still behind Teo Calve. And Jochen Hahn seems to have to defend from Adam Lachko here, the birthday boy, trying to go chasing after a podium, but he would have to get more than just past Jochen Hahn at this point. He would have to then go chasing off Antonio Albacete and then overtake him as well. And now we see the rest of the field further down. John Newell looking down the inside of Heinrich Clemens Hecker. Now you would wonder, if you've seen other forms of motorsport, you'd be asking yourself, why isn't he sat in the slipstream? Why isn't he trying to close up behind? Well, with our racing trucks being governed and limited to 100 miles an hour, 160 kilometers an hour, the drivers don't gain anything from sitting in the slipstream really, other than maybe a little bit of initial acceleration. Once they get up to that speed though, they are not allowed to go any quicker than that. So all you would be doing is just sitting in dirty air, and basically just meaning that your truck will overheat, because you'll just be getting the hot air from the truck in front. Now it looks to me from that earlier contact, actually, you see it there, Steffi Halm definitely has a left rear puncture on her Iveco, and that is going to make it a real challenge to drive, because we saw earlier that through the right-hander at the end of the lap she had quite a lot of trouble. It looks like the right rear tyre isn't in its best shape either. Now they have 2 tyres on each side on the rear. As you can see, they look a lot wider, but there's 4 wheels on the rear of these trucks, so even if the outside tyre gets or has a puncture, they can continue to push on and still race at nearly full pace with the inside tyre at least. But Steffi struggling a little bit with it at the moment. There's Jose Rodriguez and Shane Brereton. There's not enough room there. Jose moves over to the right. Shane was still alongside. He's all over the back of him at the moment. They're inside the top 10, but whoever finishes ahead out of these two will be on pole position for the second race, and that's important for Shane in the championship, not just overall but in the Goodyear Cup as well, the Promoters Cup as it is now known. I still call it the Goodyear Cup even to this day. It was the Goodyear Cup last season before Goodyear became the overall title sponsor. Now look at this attack by Jamie Anderson. He's trying everything he can to get around hometown hero Teo Calve. Teo holding on very well at the moment. The little P next to their names, or next to their flags at the moment, on the timing tower on the left hand side, means that they are in the Promoters Cup, and that is for drivers that are considered rated as Chrome. So in the championship, rather than having Pro and Am, we have Titan and Chrome. And the definition for Chrome drivers, for Titan drivers, is anyone that has been a Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Champion in the last 10 years, or anyone that's finished in the top 7 in the championship in the previous season. Either that, or it's anybody that's been in the top 5 of any Super Pole session from last season, or any other sort of classification that would mean, or any other previous results or achievements that would mean that they have that. There is the big send down the inside by Jamie Anderson on Teo Calve. Good respect by Teo, he gave him the room to get the job done, and then Jamie just cuts the nose off through the chicane. I understand that I did get a little bit too tied up in the Chrome definition or the Titan definition of that to miss that move, but Jamie Anderson goes into the lead of the Promoters Cup in this race and up into 6th place overall. Jose Rodriguez still on for a podium from where he is right now, but I think this battle may not be over yet. Teo will be now inspired to push on and try his very best to catch up with Jamie once more. It's been a strong run by Jamie though, to be honest with you. Started 10th on the grid. Andre Kurzim and Steffi Halm both had issues, so he gained places from that, but he also had to make up further ground as well and overtake Teo good and proper. And it was a nice clean move as well. They want a fair fight for the championship going into the last couple of races of the season. And it's nice to see that that's exactly what we are getting. Now we have drivers on their second warnings for penalty markers, I've been told. Shout out to my wonderful colleague Alice Holloway, who's given me all of the information from Race Control this weekend, helping me greatly with everything that comes from Race Control, any messages or anything that comes through. And the drivers mentioned that are currently on their second warnings, he says, are Heinrich Clemens Hecker, Teo Calve and Shane Brereton. We have Stefan Faas here trying to make a move on Heinrich Clemens Hecker down the inside. Stefan got past John Newell in the last lap or so. Stefan now has to go around the outside of Heinrich Clemens Hecker into the Dunlop chicane. He's down the inside for the first part of it. This is Scania on Scania. He's going to try and go around the outside on the second part of it. Carries the speed around the outside. Heinrich says to him, not a chance, you get out there. Still side by side as they go down the hill around the long sweeping right-hander that bottoms out very quickly as they get down what is known as Virage de la Chapelle. It's a very long corner indeed. Somehow Heinrich Clemens Hecker holding on and turning it into an attacking move on Steffi Halm. Tries to just put his nose down the inside. Steffi's going to have an issue getting the traction down, of course, with that left rear puncture. Heinrich Clemens Hecker throws it to the inside line, goes later on the brakes, and he's locked up. Oh, and he's gone straight on into the side of Steffi, and you can see that's a massive old hit, that is, down the inside. He just locked up on the brakes. And you can see that Steffi, even driving in a straight line, the steering wheel isn't quite in the middle. Here's a look back at it, just a lock up as he gets to the apex, and bang! Lifts the left front wheel of Steffi's truck off the ground as well. Shows you just how sturdy these machines are though, because they really do take a beating in these races. And whenever there is contact, it is always a big hit. Hopefully though, Steffi not too affected by that one, and she can try and get the truck back. I think she has properly dropped to the back of the field now though with that one. And that incident is being looked at. That's the second incident involving Heinrich Clemens Hecker in this race that is going to be looked at. So what are the gaps like then? Norbert Kirsch leads this race by 6 seconds from Sasha Lenz. He's got less than a second to Antonio Albertetti behind him. There's the view from up in the grandstands. You can see just how steep that grandstand that Christina and I were sat in this morning is. It's ridiculous. There is your race and championship leader, Norbert Kirsch, doing everything he needs to do at the moment. He's on for 20 points for winning the first race of the day. You then get 15 points for second place, 12 for third, then 10 for fourth. So as long as Jochen Hahn finishes in fourth, no matter what Norby does today, he cannot win the championship in the second race of the day. It will at least have to wait till tomorrow. And there is Steffi Halm bringing the truck back, clearly with further issues after that contact and the puncture on the left rear. Not the way that she would have liked to start her race weekend. But there is the gap then for Norbert Kish in Big Red Baloo. Hard onto the brakes and into the chicane, a long sweeping chicane. Fantastic momentum carried through there. It's a great bit of racing circuit. Be awesome to see GT cars and touring cars heading around there as well. It's one of those corners that really requires a lot of commitment from a driver. These are some of the drivers a bit further down. Stefan Fast there in 11th place ahead of John Newell, and then just up the road we've got this still going on. Jose Rodriguez is 8th, Shane Brereton is 9th. Heinrich Clemens Hecker, I'm told, has been given a drive-through penalty. Not sure whether that's for penalty markers or the incidents that he's been involved in. I imagine it's probably the latter. And there it is, confirmed on the graphic. But as mentioned, the important battle going on is this one here. Jose Rodriguez just ahead of Shane Brereton, because whoever finishes ahead out of these two drivers is going to be 8th on the grid. And that means they'll be first on the grid, because the top 8 of the grid get reversed. Apologies. Down through the Dunlop curve once again they go, and now look at this. This is the battle for second position here. Antonio Albacete all over the back of Sasha Lenz all of a sudden. He's caught him up twofold in the last couple of laps. Last time round their lap times were about 0.4 of a second different. Antonio Albacete much quicker at this part of the race. Jose Rodriguez is apparently under investigation for overspeeding as well. Now, as mentioned before, the trucks are governed to 100 miles an hour, 160 kilometers an hour. They can exceed that mechanically, but the drivers are told do not. That is on safety grounds, of course. You don't really want 5.3 ton trucks doing over 100 miles an hour, really, because there would be a lot more safety measures needed, and a lot more would need to go on to ensure that the safety of the circuits is at a high enough level to deal with anything that may happen in truck racing. So this is Andrei Kurzim trying to hold off Shane Brereton now after he's made his way back through, up into 9th place. Shane has had this engine issue though, where anywhere between 0 and 100% throttle, as he's explained it to us before, it's almost like the throttle is sort of spiking and fluttering all of a sudden. He just doesn't get a smooth input from it, and the engine obviously then moves around and shakes quite a lot with the pure weight of the thing, and then that affects the traction that the truck gets out of the corner and just the general acceleration of the thing. You know, I can't even get the words out to try and explain it. And we mentioned before that Steffi Halm had come in through the pits after contact from many a driver, and she is now down there with Christina.
Yeah, she can take really a lot, but it was too much for this truck, obviously. What was the final punishing push?
Ja, am Anfang hatte ich mir wahrscheinlich beim Steffen im Gerangel hinten links einen Platten eingefangen. Deswegen war ich so unglaublich langsam und habe auch einige Plätze verloren. Und jetzt am Ende musste ich das Rennen aufgeben. Der Clemens hatte mich versucht zu überholen und ist mir seitlich richtig auf die Vorderachse gefahren. Das Lenkrad stand komplett schief. Wir waren auf dem letzten Platz, Auto ist krumm. Deswegen habe ich gesagt, bevor irgendwas kaputt geht beim Fahren, komme ich rein. Wir werden jetzt gucken, dass wir das Parc Fermé aufheben, dass wir das Auto fürs zweite Rennen fertig bekommen.
Danke. So they're trying to liberate the Parc Fermé to getting the truck ready for race number 2. She said after the start she had to push with Stefan Fast and catch the puncture, as we have noticed. And then after the push with Clemens Hecker, it was on the front axle. And so she said they couldn't take any more. So they've been on the last place. And then she said, okay, we're trying to, because, the steering, it was completely 90 degrees off, so she couldn't really handle the truck anymore. The decision was made to be back here and trying to get everything fixed ahead of race number 2.
Yeah, it's always a big repair job on these trucks, and that's the thing. While they can take a beating if something does break, it is a big old repair. Thank you very much, Christina, for tracking Steffi down and having a quick chat. And I must say as well, not being a German speaker, but when you do listen to the German language, it's a fantastic language, isn't it? How quickly anyone can speak German when it's their mother tongue. It's an amazing language, and it's remarkable to listen to. But the German that Heinrich Clemens Hecker will be repeating later might not be so broadcastable. And to be honest, you can understand the frustrations of Steffi in that one. She was just trying to get on with her own race, tried to nurse that truck back to the end, and unfortunately a big clatter in the side for Heinrich Clemens Hecker was all that finished it off. So as Norbert Kish goes on to the final lap of the race, then there's your reminder, this is all based on 100% renewable HVO diesel, hydro-treated vegetable oil diesel. It is. So it's all sustainable, excellent racing in this championship, and well, Norby has done everything he needed to do this season. He's got 12 race wins to his name so far this year, and this is going to surely be win number 13, and he's going to extend his lead at the top of the championship. Not by enough to completely clinch the title in this one. Sascha Lenz in second place is going to score 15 points, so it's not going to be too bad for him. And Jochen Hahn is second in the championship, but it's looking like he's going to be fourth in the race, and he's going to score the 10 points, which is more than the 8 points needed just to make sure that the championship is not mathematically winnable by this man here until tomorrow at least. But it means that in the second race of the day, Norby can at least just enjoy himself a little bit and trying to fight back through the pack. He's going to start 8th on the grid if he wins the race, and the drivers that are currently battling over 8th position have spread out a little bit now. It was Jose Rodriguez and Shane Brereton. Shane has now dropped down into 10th position. There's still a bit of a gap between Jose Rodriguez and Andre Kurzim. But in terms of overall figures for Norbert Kish, this is going to be his 76th victory in the championship. He got win number 75 at Zolder. After telling us just how much he wanted to get one, he didn't win the first race of the weekend after a phenomenal defensive drive by Sascha Lenz, but you can expect some drifting here from Norbert Kish, as he knows he has got the job done. Round the final corner he goes. Is he going to kick the back end out, as he so often does? Maybe not in as dramatic a fashion, but he goes over to the pit wall, celebrates, gets a big well done from the team, and just about everybody else on the pit wall as well. Some of the T-Sport but now boys saying well done as well. Norbert Kish wins the first race of the weekend at Le Mans, with Sascha Lenz in second place. Antonio Alberthetti gets another podium. That's his 6th podium of the season. Jochen Hahn finishes in 4th place ahead of Adam Lachko. And round the final corner comes Jamie Anderson, a fantastic recovery drive to take the win in the Promoters Cup. Very well deserved indeed. Hard work by Jamie. Theo Calve, second place, only loses a couple of points to him at the top of the standings. He's still got a very good buffer up there, as Theo. He finishes ahead of Jose Rodriguez, who gets a podium in the Promoters Cup. Then it's Andre Kurzim, Shane Brereton, Stefan Faas. John Newell finishes 12th in his first race. He's just crossed the line now. And then Heinrich Clemens Hecker will be the final truck to cross the line. But Norbert Kish takes win number 13. Flawless victory again from pole position. Doesn't get much better than that, does it? Sascha Lenz will be happy to have taken second position and potentially close in on Jochen Hahn a little bit more. He's just gained 5 points on him in the championship scrap, but ideally they need to be gaining points on Norbert Kish. There are wonderful marshals giving the drivers a round of applause as well. Big thanks to our marshals once again, because without them we could not go racing. And now everyone makes their way back in. Good to see Antonio Alberthetti back on the podium as well. They've had a bit of an up and down season. They had a massive engine fire at Most earlier in the season. Just trying to rack my brains actually to think back when Antonio's last podium was. I think, didn't he grab one? Not sure if he actually grabbed one at Zolder, to be honest. To be honest with you, my brain has gone out the window in this this exact moment, to be fair. But still, it's fantastic to see, and another very, very good win by Norbert Kish. Antonio Albacete will be making his way round now, just behind Sasha Lenz, who again, more solid points on the board. It's always important to score points after points after points, and that's the whole point of a championship at the end of the day. It's so easy to just let one little result slip here and there in the middle of a season, as Norby has way overdone it with the drifting there, as he tries to get that amazing transfer between one drift and another that he did last season. He's way overdone it as Norby. Maybe getting a little bit ahead of himself there. It's not often that he gets anything wrong on a track, to be honest, is it for Norby? But still, entertaining all the same. There are some of our wonderful marshals bringing in the many penalty markers that would have been battered and destroyed during that race. And there is John Newell making his way back into the pit lane after his first race in the championship in that very clean NWT prepared machine. He did mention the name of the company that was building that truck earlier on, but admittedly it's completely gone. I wrote it down on some of my paperwork earlier and I don't know where it's gone. Anyway, Norbert Kish takes another win. Very happy Reveish Racing team, a happy T-Sport Banau and a happy SL Truck Sport 30 team as well. Three drivers that we've very often seen on the podium here. That is Sasha Lenz's 16th podium of the season. Norbert Kish's 17th appearance on the top three steps. And there you go, a cheeky little fist pump there by Norby. Excuse me. Gets the job done. And big hugs all around for the team, who also document all of their racing as well. They have a wonderful team of guys doing their videography and photography as well. There's Chaba. Big smiles all around. And he's probably just saying, yeah, I drifted it and went off the circuit, mate. There might be a bit of grass in it. Very well done. You can see the passion with this team as well, just how much it all means. No matter how many wins they get in a season, you know, it doesn't get boring to them. They're just absolutely loving it. Now, I've seen a race control message that says that the team manager of Truck 17, which is Shane Brayton, needs to go to the race director after the session. There's an interesting development. Might have to catch up with him in a little bit and see what happens there. You can see Christina on standby there as Norby gets an endless amount of congratulations and handshakes and well dones. There's Jamie Anderson, who won the Promoters Cup in that race. Did a fantastic job. He and Sasha Lenz are having a good laugh about the fact that Norby went off the circuit. I'm sure Sasha's got some funny words to say about that. He's a very entertaining guy, Sasha. There is the legend himself, Antonio Albacete. Always a big smile on Antonio's face. He's such a great guy. And there is Jamie Anderson back on the top step in the Promoters Cup. That is his 10th win of the season in the category. His 18th Promoters Cup podium. And he had to work for that one from 10th on the grid. But it is smiles all round between races at least for the Anderson Racing team. I'm sure that was along the lines of the axles straight now after Zolder, is it? There's Bernard Moritz as well. Now, I'm friends with Bernard on Facebook, and honestly, he takes so many pictures all the time of all the different teams and drivers and everybody. I don't know how he has the time to take pictures of so many people all at once. He seems to be one of those photographers that is everywhere all of the time. He is fantastic. He knows exactly where to be and when. You can see him now, look, working his way in, and he knows right where to be. And one great place to be is with Norbert Kish, and that's exactly where we have Christina for an interview.
Yes, absolutely. What a procedure this was, handshakes with everyone. The team seems bigger and bigger throughout the season.
Yes, it's a team spirit, we always do that. We always do that on the starting grid as well and at the end of the race as well, and I think it's very nice. I am very happy.
Absolutely great to see from pole to start-finish line first. How was the race for you? You said the first chicane is always interesting.
Yeah, just like now as well. The start was really tight. We go side by side with Sasha, and up the hill on the right. Sasha is a little bit, because he's on the inside, he was a little bit front again. But then the next turn is for me, and that's why the pole position is on the left. And yeah, I could brake a little bit later, go in fast in the chicane, and then make it out in front. So yeah, it was good. And then try to concentrate, hitting my marks, do my pace I can, and build a little bit of a gap. and it worked, so really happy.
You are the leader of the pack, also used to drifting, but this time it went a bit wrong or a bit into the grass.
Yeah, I am sorry. I will go out and say sorry to the marshals myself, because they were just coming out to the circuit to, it's my mistake. It was, I overcooked it a little bit, so yeah, I am sorry.
I think they will hear the sorry, but it was also fun to see you celebrating, of course. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So it's Sascha Lenz, come on over.
Penalty.
For the grass. He said sorry to the marshals, but he said also great competition in between you, both you. You went first, and then the next turn was his turn to get over. But also, are you happy with the second place?
I'm really happy here. So 1 second faster in the qualifying. So yeah, the start was not so good from my side. So when I can drive a little bit more in the front, then I have it easier for the turn left, and then I'm maybe for the right corner I'm better in position, but it's life. We are really happy. We are in P2. We make a lot of points to Jochen, and that's important for us.
It's crunch time right now in this championship. So you're aiming, of course, for the second place and throughout this championship. How do you see your chances?
Yeah, for sure. We have a really good chance, and that's what we want. And we will see later after the weekend.
All right. Enjoy the podium. You too, Chas und Joachim Eberts. Und hallo nach Hannover. So sieht's aus hier bei der Truck Racing Europameisterschaft. Und gleich geht's hoch aufs Podium. So up to the podium for you guys.
Thanks very much, Christina. I still find it amazing how quickly Christina switches in between English and German like that. I can only dream of being able to speak 2 languages and doing it that well. And Christina can speak a bunch of them as well. We've heard her interviewing Jose Rodriguez and Jose Eduardo Rodriguez in Portuguese as well before. It's phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. But what a great first race of the weekend. Plenty going on in that one. A lot of it was very straightforward for a number of the drivers. Teo Calvi there saying, I've already got one of these, mate. Don't you worry about that. Antonio gets a Goodyear cap as well. And they were just talking about different parts of the race and how it all developed. And this is one of my favourite things as racing drivers. I mean, my background is all in sim racing before I came to do what I'm now calling real world motorsport. And when you just get together and you chat with other drivers and other competitors about what went on in a race, what happened to you at this point, what happened there, or how did so-and-so get ahead, or how did they end up there, finding out all these details right after the race while the adrenaline is still flowing while you're talking to the other drivers is such a wonderful part. You know, I may not have done it in the real world like this, I've done it in a sim racing way, but it's still the same concept and it's great fun. Handshakes there from Jamie Anderson for Teo Calvi and Antonio Albertetti, and of course there is a lot of competition between Jamie and Teo, and you can see them both having a bit of a discussion there. There's a bit of shaking of the heads, but I don't think there's anything untoward with what went on. Jamie went for the move down the inside and Teo was respectful and gave him the room to make it a clean one. And how cool is this? The drivers come out onto the podium, the legendary podium here at Le Mans. First driver out is a legend as well. Antonio Albertetti makes his way across, gives everybody a nice wave. And as Alice and I were discussing earlier in the weekend, we can't think of any other circuits in the world where the podium overhangs either the pit lane or the circuit. So if you know anybody, or any circuits of course that do that, then let us know. The guys are shaking their heads like, which one do I stand on? There are numbers on the front, gentlemen. Antonio is probably thinking, where did I finish? Maybe third, second? Sasha seems to think he can get promoted to first with a penalty for Norby going off on the cooldown lap. But for now, at least, Norbert Kish will stand on the top step of the podium. A big wave for everybody. Handshakes all round. And a fantastic podium to be stood on here at the legendary circuit of De La Sarthe. They will bring the trophies out now and hand them to the drivers one by one. Antonio Albertetti receives his third place trophy. That is his 6th podium of the season. And then Sascha Lenz gets his 16th podium of the season. It's remarkable numbers, isn't it? Absolutely remarkable. And then Norbert Kish, your race winner for race 1 of the weekend. They've got a fantastic announcer here as well at Le Mans. He's a very loud boy. And there you go, the Hungarian national anthem for Norbert Kish, race winner in this latest round of the 2022 Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. And then they get the pictures taken with their wonderful trophies. It's great that all of the circuits and the events that we go to do have unique trophies as well. You know, it's not the same trophy for every single round of the championship. That's one of the real benefits to European and international motorsport, is that you get these fantastic circuits with different trophies. And nice close-up shot of the guys there on the podium. There's great access to the podium here at Le Mans. Now they give everybody a wave. They make their way off the podium, and then it'll be time to hand out the trophies to the Promoters' Cup top three, after a bit of champagne, of course. Now they decide not to soak each other because they haven't got long before the next race of the day. Sasha Lenz takes his turn to then spray the champagne to everybody down below. We still have a few more moments, of course, to get some reaction from drivers and see the next podium. And I tell you what, if, as well as having a very good announcer here at Le Mans, they have a fantastic speaker system that is very, very loud and gives everyone certainly a very detailed audio experience around the circuit. I couldn't quite think of the words there, can you tell? Now they're getting some of the officials up onto the podium just ahead of the Promoters' Cup. There's Dominic as well saying chill out. We've got Shane Brayton in there as well. Now let's not forget, actually, Jose Rodriguez did have a 10-second penalty, didn't he? So he may have dropped behind. He did drop behind Shane Brayton in that one. So Norbert Kish takes the win. 6.8 seconds to the good ahead of Sasha Lenz. Antonio Albertetti completes the podium. Jochen Hahn, truck 4, P4. Adam Lachko, truck 55, P5. Jamie Anderson finishes in 6th, wins the Promoters' Cup ahead of Teo Calve. Andre Kurzim in 8th. Shane Brayton gets a podium in the Promoters' Cup in 9th, with Stefan Faas rounding out the top 10. Also a Promoters' Cup driver. In 11th position, we had Jose Rodriguez after his penalty, ahead of John Newell on his debut. Solid race from him. Heinrich Clemens-Hacker was 13th, with Steffi Halm unfortunately out of the race after the damage sustained in the 2 bits of contact she had. Shane Brayton goes out onto the podium. Teo Calve also getting called out in front of his home crowd. And then the man that wants to prove a point this weekend and try and get right up there in the Promoters' Cup, Jamie Anderson, makes a very good start to his weekend's proceedings and takes the win in the class straight off the bat. After his qualifying performance, which put him right up near the front of the grid, he's going to be really happy with that one, because having the time deleted was a big shock to the system, and of course a devastating blow to what was a great qualifying effort to begin with. Trophies handed out. That one will mean a lot for Teo Calve, doing this on home soil. It's always a very emotional time when drivers race in their home country. And Teo really is a rising star of truck racing. It's always a very emotional moment hearing the British national anthem, especially after our recent passing of the wonderful Queen Elizabeth II, and of course the now new King Charles III, reigning over our country. It's a very an interesting time where the country certainly has to try and recover from what a tragic loss it has been. And as mentioned, it's always emotional still hearing the national anthem now. It's incredible how moments like this really added an extra bit of importance to that. But for the drivers, the importance right now is the fact that they are first, second and third in their respective class in the first race of the weekend. And champagne is sprayed all over the podium once more. And you can see just how windy it is actually here at Le Mans. You spray it to the left and it goes straight on, basically. Now, in the second race later on today, the drivers, I'm sure, will soak each other a lot more. And there will be a lot more camaraderie up there, but they still have a good laugh with it all the same. Smiles all around from the guys. And Jamie Anderson has certainly started his weekend off in very, very good fashion. Here's a look at the championship after that one then. 323 points for Norbert Kisch, 245 points to Jochen Hahn, 238 for Sascha Lenz, so he's only 7 behind Jochen now. It's honestly going to be a really enthralling fight to see those two right to the end of the championship. Adam Lachko is still mathematically in with a chance of being up there with them, but maybe not now, clinging on to winning the championship outright. Antonio Albacete in 5th on 153 points. He's in a bit of no man's land ahead of Steffi Halm, who is 3 points clear of Jamie Anderson, who's had a great final run through the season. He may even be classed as a Titan driver from next season if this carries on. Andre Kurzim finishes in 8th place ahead of Theo Calve. Shane Brereton is currently in 10th. Lucas Hahn now behind him outside of the top 10 ahead of Stefan Faas on 30 points. Then we have Jose Rodriguez. Anthony Janiek's 13 points remain up there in the standings, with René Reiner, Heinrich Clemens Hecker, Martin Gibson and Thomas Robineau rounding out your field. But Norbert Kisch continues to lead the championship and continues to dominate proceedings, while at the top of the Promoters' Cup it's still Theo Calve as well. 289 points now to the 271 of Jamie Anderson, so still a decent buffer all the same, with Shane Brereton now recovering more points in 3rd place. He seems pretty clear of Stefan Faas and Jose Rodriguez at the moment, who could still lock horns in the final races of the season. Heinrich Clemens Hecker on 124 points is way clear of Lucas Hahn, who I don't think we'll see back for the rest of the season. Jonathan Andre is racing in the French Truck Racing Championship this weekend, so will not feature on the grid. Neither will Martin Gibson or Thomas Robineau, but they have enough points between them from the earlier parts of the season. Louis Riquenco has currently got 33 points, 10 clear of Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, son of Jose. Then we have Emma Mäkinen, Stefan Kirsch, Owen Klein-Nagelvoort, and John Newell gets his first 6 points on the board with his first race in the championship. As you see, wonderful conditions, and we've had them all the way through the race from the very start. A wonderful shot as everybody moved away with the trophy in between each row of the grid, but it was another solid start by Norbert Kisch and Sascha Lenz. Unfortunately, a poor start for the two Ivecos of Andre Kurzim and Steffi Halm. Steffi later on in the race trying to work very hard to make her way back through the field, but ultimately it would be a tough time for the championship's female racing star. Marshals were kept busy with the penalty markers, and Jochen Hahn was kept busy trying to keep his truck in a straight line. He was certainly pushing hard as the race went on, but unfortunately would not gain any further places and finish 4th overall. There were good battles up and down the field, whether that be in the Promoters' Cup or in the overall standings, but unfortunately big contact for Heinrich Clemens Hecker and Steffi Halm would mean that Heinrich would get a penalty and go much further down the order. Jose Rodriguez also getting a penalty as well. 10-second time penalty, meaning he does not get a podium position in the Promoters' Cup. But it's another podium and another top step of the podium for Norbert Kisch, taking his 13th race victory of the season, his 17th appearance on the top 3 steps, of course, with the podium. And another man that was on the podium just then and is leading his championship is Theo Calve, and we've got him with Christina for an interview.
Yes, thank you very much to Kavir for waiting. You're leader of the championship of the Promoters' Cup. Right now on 2nd place after this race. A little bit champagne spray on the trophy, but that sounds good.
Yeah. I finished 2nd place. It's not what I wanted, what I expected, but I had a little problem with the truck. And I had to survive all the race. And I finished 7th, so it's not too bad for the next one. Okay, we lose 5 points, but Jamie did good race, and let's see. I think the next one will be quite interesting.
Absolutely. What was the problem with the truck?
I don't know. I had no steering, and also a little problem with the back. Like the truck was so slippery. I don't know. Don't really understand why, but we will check it and fix it for the next race.
Okay, thank you very much to Kv. So as you said, it's reverse grid time. The second race meaning someone who finished P8 right now is then going to start on P1 and who's definitely on P1 from the Promoters Cup perspective and was standing there on the podium. Jamie Anderson, congratulations. First win this weekend at Le Mans. What a spectacular weekend. It is such great to see so many fans. We are up to a record right now. How was the driving for you?
Yeah, really good. You know, we had a disappointing qualifying. We had our time taken away with us. That would have probably been P4. You know, so we started on the grid at P10 and we did a good job. You know, we had a good overtake, clean overtake on Tio. And then towards the end we were 7 seconds faster than Tio. So we've started in a good way and let's hope we can continue this for the rest of the weekend to keep the Goodyear Cup alive still. And that's what we need to try and do, and let's hope it stays like this.
Absolutely. So do we want to change anything at the setup or is it perfect?
No, we've not changed anything all year really with the setup. A little click here, a little click there. Majority of it's been me. So as it goes right now, you know, the truck's been really good and we just have a quick check over on it and we go from there.
As you said, we're in the crunch time of the Promoters Cup right now. Really difficult times for you. Also, as a driver, you need to be focused. How do you do it? With whom do you talk about that?
Well, it's normally on a small dark room you talk with it. But as I say, you normally end up talking with somebody, talking about it and seeing what you're going to do.
Thank you very much, Jamie. Congratulations. Race number 1 is in the books right now. What a massive fun this was here, and also for all the teams right now getting back in the paddock, and lots to do right now because, yes, race number 2 is going to be soon after race number 1 here at Le Mans. As you can see, Norby Kirsch, the current leader of the championship, is coming out here as well. So Chas Record, Joachim Ebert, it was great fun working with you guys. Also nochmal ganz viele Grüße nach Hannover auf die IAA Transportation. Ich hoffe, ihr hattet auch ein bisschen Spaß hier reinzuschalten. Folgt uns mal bei der Goodyear 4 ETRC, auch auf den Channels auf YouTube oder auch auf den Social Media Channels, wird uns freuen. So this was a bit advertising. Of course, you know already our social media channels. Please tune in. Thank you very much. That was it from race number 1 and see you soon.